trying to find a way to fit him. This is Basil. Anyway, I'm gonna stay here. Hello, for people who are new or who have forgotten who I am, I'm Shoy, and I'm returning to booktube, or trying to, after, oh my god, like 5 years. It's a little bit crazy looking back at my old videos. Obviously a lot has changed in 5 years. I can't believe I was a child making those videos. I actually have a lot of appreciation for the like other adult booktubers who were really supportive and like made friends with me. If any of you are still around and watching this, thank you. And also please leave a comment. I would love to be back in the community. I've like kind of tried vlogging little bits and pieces over the years and like really wanting to get back into it, into like recording my life a little bit, and I've really struggled to like maintain it consistently. But I've been watching some booktube videos and just like getting inspired and back into that world. I guess life updates. Contrary to this jumper, I'm not a uni student. I did drop out, but whatever. I have moved out of my parents' house and I'm 21 now. I don't really know what to give as a life update. Maybe I'll save that for like a different opportunity. I have a cat called Basil who you just saw, but there's also another cat in my house called Lux who you will get to see clips of, I'm sure. How do you summarize like 4 years of growing up? I don't really know. I don't think I can do it. Instead, I can talk about books. That's pretty easy. I have been back into reading, but like not super consistently and not at a very fast pace. But I've been really enjoying it and trying to get more into the routines of reading. I tried kind of starting my mornings with a non-fiction book and ending my evenings with a fiction book. I'm really trying to break my phone addiction and like keep my phone downstairs overnight. So part of that has been like, I need something to maintain my attention when I normally would want to scroll. And that's just been so lovely. I want to get like more into reading where like I can pick up a book instead of my phone whenever I'm bored or looking for something to do. But you know, we're getting there. It's a slow process. 2 books that I read recently was Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares. These are books that I read like ages ago. Actually, I think my last vlog on this channel I was reading Strange the Dreamer. I was really craving like a nice feeling physical book, and these are so beautiful to hold. Oh, these are fantasy books. I might not go into a full recap. They have very heavy themes. I kind of forgot how heavy it can be, but at the same time, like, it's really, I think about relationships, and I really appreciated the way it explores the themes and the characters and like people's motivations. I loved reading them. This book was definitely my favorite. Like, I was also just so thrilled, and like I had to keep reading to find out what was going to happen. Like, I had forgotten most of the plot, so I was really just gripped by the mystery unfurling. I think she did that really well, and she kept the pace. At least in this book, it was like a slow burn, but it was still like a page turner. I do really love the like detail and writing style. This book I found a little bit maybe slower or like less attention grabbing. It didn't have that unfurling mystery feeling as much. It felt, I don't know, like I think a lot of it felt like the middle book of a series, and then the end also didn't feel like a super satisfying climax. Like I don't know, I think just like the concept and plot for this book didn't hit as well for me, but I still enjoyed it, and yeah, just had a lot of fun with these. Another book that I read that took ages, like those are really big books, and the non-fiction book I was reading, Shadows at Noon by Joya Chatterjee. It also like is so big, so I just feel like I have been moving very slowly through those 3 books, but I'm impressed that I made it through all of them still. The subtitle for this is The South Asian 20th Century, and it basically does like a historical, like mostly socio-political look at South Asia, particularly basically the like territories of the British Raj, so India, Pakistan and Bangladesh. It doesn't really go into Sri Lanka at all. I took it as a bit of an introduction. Like, I think every part of this book and every topic could be delved into in an entire book of this size. Like, there is just so much richness to unpack in South Asian history and society and culture. And I've been really interested in like understanding it a little bit more and understanding the nuances as someone who is Bengali but has grown up in Australia with like, I do have a strong connection to my culture through my parents and the community here, but I don't have a lot of the like political and cultural context. And obviously because I'm like learning a lot of it through my parents, there is a lot of the, you know, blind spots or you know, it's just like coming from their particular experience, and there's just so much more to explore. In particular, something like caste, like my family is upper caste, and so like that is something that I think is really important for me to intentionally learn about with an anti-caste kind of lens. So just like things like that where I want to understand more and I don't know exactly where to start, and this book like really was the perfect place to start for me. And I've bookmarked a lot, and I think there'll be like a lot more research that I do based on the things that I found interesting in this book, even just recommendations from this book. I would really recommend it for people who are interested in this topic. It is split into kind of themes, so you kind of start looking at more of the politics and nationality and nationhood, and then you go into different parts of culture like food and migration and gender and marriage. I just really, really loved this. For me, like reading about the kind of history and culture is like very connected to what is the reality right now. In particular, like a lot of the Hindu far right is really concerning to me. If by any chance you have recommendations for like South Asian cultural or political or historical books and different perspectives, I would love to know, because yeah, this was really just a starting point. One of the books that I like read about in this one but now I want to pick up was The Case of Exploding Mangoes. This is kind of a fictional account of what happened when Pakistan's like president or prime minister, it's saying dictator on the back here, died in a plane crash. But I actually don't really know much about the story or how the story unfolds. I'm going to pick this one up pretty soon when I go on a little holiday. I'm going away for like a month very soon. I'm spending a week traveling in Thailand and then going to Kolkata in India where my family is from, staying with my grandparents and maybe exploring the city a little bit, which I haven't really done on my own terms before. I've always gone as like a kid with my parents. I'm trying to decide on one more book to bring with me on that trip, and I currently have 2 contenders. We have Last Night by Mary McFarlane. I actually don't think that's how you pronounce that name, and I should look it up. Or 3 Wishes by Leanne Moriarty. The lighting, it's not great here. There we go. Yeah, this one is, I guess, more of a romance. I've read some of this author before and I just have enjoyed them. They're pretty easy, fun reads. And this one is a bit more of like a mystery, but Leanne Moriarty also writes very like, yeah, character driven. The politics, social politics between characters. And I really enjoyed Big Little Lies. That's the only other Leanne Moriarty book I've read. And I really, really loved it. So I think this would be fun as well. But I haven't really heard much about this one. I think I might read like the first chapter of both and then see what I feel more drawn to. Those are my like holiday reads at the moment. And I just have 2 more to briefly talk about before I go away. I would love to finish both of these books, but that might be ambitious, we'll see. I want to keep the trend of reading a non-fiction in the morning, and I just started The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin, which is super, super short, so I think I can get through it. I already finished like the first little bit, which was a letter to his nephew, and Annihilation. I have wanted to read this book before watching the movie for ages. Also seems like it'll be quick, so I haven't started it. I have nothing else to say. It has been sitting on my bedside table for the last like 2 or 3 weeks, and I have not picked it up before bed because I keep going on my phone instead. So wish me luck. That's all for my update on bookish things right now. I'm gonna try to vlog a little bit for the next week and give you my updates as I read. Thanks again for watching and coming back to my channel. Or if you're new here, nice to meet you. We'll get one more Basil cameo before we say bye. I have not been vlogging, but I have been reading. I just sat down to like read for a little bit while I had my morning tea, and I've managed to actually just get through most of the book in like an hour, and I can't stop. I'm so drawn in. It is just filled with so much mystery and strangeness and like unfurling dread. It's just really got me. So I think I'm going to sit and finish this right now and tell you my thoughts once I'm done. I didn't really explain where I am and what I'm doing. I'm at my parents' house for the weekend because we have our big cultural festival for the year, which is called Durga Puja. It's basically the big celebration for Bengali Hindus, and yeah, it's going to be a pretty busy weekend. So I'm kind of happy to just have finished reading this entire book because I won't have time to read over the weekend. There'll be lots of dressing up and eating and chatting and dancing. I have some dancing as part of this cultural event, but I also have just been really into dance recently. That's something I've been doing a lot of, and so I just went to a little casual class yesterday as well, which you saw. That's my little update for now. I'll let you know how the rest of the book goes.
Ready for your ruin, American fan. You're voting in the majority with the group. You get through to the next round, and you get a point for your team. Does that make sense?
Okay, I read the one chapter each and it didn't actually help me much. This one, I can imagine it being a page turner, but at the same time, it didn't grab me. And I'm like, maybe I just need to get invested in the characters. It kind of like tells the story of the like inciting incident through perspectives of other people on the night. I don't think I was a big fan of it. It also dropped the R slur. It was like, it's fine, I can still see myself enjoying it, but I don't feel drawn to it. This one, I feel confused by mostly. It really just looks like a romance about an unrequited crush and like a love story and just like an easy romance. I think I described it as an easy romance, but I don't think it is. It maybe has like darker plot elements, or it's just more of like a drama. People say women's fiction, I don't know what that is supposed to mean. And also deals with grief. Like the first chapter is talking about someone who has died, and I don't know who yet, and I don't know how and what's gonna happen, but I'm just like, this is not just like a little love story. Oh, and I also didn't love the like doing fun formatting for the intro. I just got confused because they have this like text exchange, but I was like, we haven't established any characters yet, and we've gone from like, and it was also talking about a dream. I was just like, that is a really unnecessarily confusing first chapter. It was weird. I don't feel like excited about either of them, but I still feel like if I gave them a shot and got a couple chapters in, like, it'll be fine. I was actually just thinking about how much I feel like reading fantasy, and I would reread Lord of the Rings, but that feels like a kind of stupid travel book to bring with me. I don't know. This was a mostly unhelpful exercise, but I will make my decision in the morning and update you guys. Hello, this is an update to fill you in because I didn't film any of the update clips I said I would. First of all, I did decide which book to bring on my trip to Thailand. I actually have already been to Thailand and I'm back at home in Melbourne after that. And I've already read the book, but I'm not going to talk about it right now because I'm going to have a separate like travel vlog where I talk about all the books I read on my holidays. I ended up going with Last Night. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that, then look out for my next video. In the end, the only book that I finished reading within this vlog was Annihilation. I was really like drawn into it, like you saw when I sat down and read all of it in one sitting. It's kind of more of a mindfuck book. Like, you don't get a lot of straightforward plot and answers. It's more just like shit's happening that doesn't really make sense, and we're looking into the minds of the main character and the kind of research expedition as they deal with not knowing what's going on. So I think it's like quite a psychological book, and I did really like that. There is a part of me that really wanted more actual answers about what's going on in this like weird area X, and I kind of looked up online to see if the second and third book in the series have more clarity, and it seems like they don't. Like, a lot of stuff is just left vague, so I'm not really sure whether I should keep reading the series or not. I feel like I should give it a go, because they're still good books even if they don't give you answers. I think there's like a part of me that just wants a satisfying answer. If anyone has read these books and especially would recommend it, then I would listen to you. Otherwise, like, I'll get to it if and when there's an opportunity. But I just had a good reading experience with this. It really kept me occupied, and that's all I needed from it, to be honest. And now I can watch the movie. But that's actually it. I didn't read any more of the James Baldwin book, so nothing to report back from that. I thought I would share the books that I'm taking with me to the second half of my traveling. I know it's a bit of a chaotic travel situation, but basically I came back from Thailand because I had a wedding in Australia, but then I'm going back out to India for 3 weeks, so I've got a bit longer. And I am bringing with me Exit West by Mohsin Hamid, which I have read and was one of my favourite books when I read it, so I'm really excited. And The Ministry of Utmost Happiness by Arundhati Roy, and I've read The God of Small Things, which is also by her, and yeah, I liked that one a lot as well. I would be really interested to pick up her like non-fiction kind of political stuff, but I already have a copy of this, so I think it's a good one to get into. And then of course I'm actually gonna bring the Leanne Moriarty book with me, and honestly I often bring books that I feel uncertain about to India, so then if I don't like it I can just leave it in India, and then like they're not the worst. Like I would reread it if I had nothing to do and I was bored, but yeah, that's basically like a library of leftovers in India, so we'll see whether— oh, this isn't my book! I just realised! Oh my god! Sorry, behind the camera is my housemate Abby, and this is my housemate's book, and I totally didn't think about that because we have the same bookshelf. What did you think about this book?
It's not my favourite of hers, for sure.
This is the background setup. Abby, do you want to say hi?
Oh, hi.
So if you're interested in my thoughts on any of these books as well as last night, then watch my next video. Oh my god, I feel like such a YouTuber. This vlog was really chaotic and all over the place and probably not that fun to watch. I think this is like my practice round. I feel like I just need to get back into the habit of it. I felt so self-conscious recording, well, filming anything even just to vlog, but then especially recording myself talking. Like it's so hard even talking to a camera when I have someone in the room with me. So I genuinely feel like I'm practicing and just building up the basic skill again. And then hopefully I will start to like actually make the content a little bit more specific to what I would like to do and talk about. So think of this as like a pilot few months, and then hopefully from next year I can like revamp and reintroduce myself properly. But thanks for watching. Please do leave a comment if you have thoughts on any of the books that I talked about, or just tell me about your reading. I want the interactive kind of part of things. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.